Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm gonna be sharing something again exciting, but it's going to come from my perspective, my pure. And I want to let you know that if you want to be successful at anything, you have to be comfortable at sucking at that at least 100 days or 200 days. The reason why I'm saying that is because you are entering into something that is unknown. Think about how World War countries used to fight back and forth. The only way that they won was they had to get comfortable. They knew they were going to lose men, and through losing men, they knew that that's how they're going to kind of like learn about their strategy and come back stronger or strategize or find other ways to like plant spies in different places. I didn't want to use that specific example, but unfortunately, that's what comes up. I probably am going to have to speak up like quite loudly so that you can hear me. You have to be comfortable with sucking at the beginning because it's a journey. And when you understand that it's the journey, you get to remove the anxiety. And from my case, I removed the anxiety from this process by not tracking the metrics, let's say, of how many likes or how many comments or engagements that I'm getting on my videos. And I focused on I'm willing to suck at the beginning, learn how to speak or learn how to edit or learn. There's just so many different components that are involved. But when I remove that kind of like anxiety, and don't get me wrong, goals are great, but at the end of the day, because you're doing something new at the beginning, allow yourself to suck. And when you give your permission to suck, everything becomes so great. Imagine going into an exam, or probably this is the wrong example to use, but imagine going into a place knowing that you're going to fail no matter what. So no matter what decision that you make or what direction you choose to take, you're going to suck at the beginning. But in the back of your mind, you know that at least if you've done this repetitively for, let's say, 80 to 100 days, you're going to get better at something. You know that if you hit 100, you're going to be so good at something. That removes all the anxiety. And I want to invite you to kind of like look at it in that different perspective. Suck as much as you can, because if you fail as fast as you can, that means you are going to be successful. And I think you've seen this in social media. I think everyone talks about it so many different times where people say the most successful people that we know is that they fail as much as possible or fast as possible. And then from that, it gives them data to come back and look at the strategy or look at the product or look at anything that they're trying to work on and come on the other side and come up with something that's better. So instead of, because you spend most of your time perfecting a product or perfecting a program or anything in this case, whatever you're working on, and then you get to launch something and then you just hear crickets happening. You're like, but I've put in so much time and effort to create this. It's so great. Why isn't anyone buying? It's because you didn't allow yourself to fail as fast as possible so that you can come back with data, alternate, and make changes that you need to make, and then put it back there again. How do you remove the anxiety from the process? Is you allow yourself to just enjoy the process. Enjoying the process means that you're not tracking anything, but you just allowing yourself to show up. Don't look at the big metrics like the engagements or comments or whatever. Just track maybe viewings and see what is working and what's not working. Allow the platforms to kind of like give you that freedom to see what you can track and what not to track. Fail as fast as possible, because when you come back, failing fast gives you data. When you get data, you get to make decisions to move forward. And then another thing I want to chat about is how everyone starts something, or they want to build a product, or they want to build a course or build a company. And everyone thinks that, you know what, at one try or second try, they're going to get it right and they're just going to make a lot of money and they're just going to have employees and they're just going to do so great. But that's usually not the reality. When you understand that, not even understand that, but just like embracing that, and you're like, okay, you know what? Right now, I don't want to achieve the millions. Right now, I just want to make, let's say, 20,000, or I want to make 60 grand, or I want to make 10K, or I want to make 30K. Have a concept in place. And if that concept is just only getting a revenue every single month or every single week or day, it is that specific amount. Stick to that. Get good at that. See if you can replicate that over and over again from a month to a week, from a week to a day. And then you see if this proof of concept that you have can be also alternated in different places or with different people. And then that's when you know that you have a business. And I know it's easier said than done, but again, that's again part of enjoying the process. That is a challenge. And again, I'm speaking to people who want to create from a place of like abundance or from a place that is something bigger than themselves, right? If you know, even though you don't know, right? And also, don't get me wrong, clarity is found from a place of doing. Clarity is not Clarity does not come from a place of waiting for signs or waiting for a perfect time or only if I get this kind of software or this kind of environment, then I'll be able to create something that is meaningful. No, clarity comes from actions or small steps. Even though you have no idea, yes, you may have something in your mind and you're like, okay, I want to make 20K or I want to make this 30K. But often, what happens is that you have this big plan, but when you come to the nitty gritties in terms of like, okay, so now what do I do on a daily basis so that I can achieve the weekly goal? And then from a weekly goal, I can achieve to the bigger goal. And that's where the dilemma comes. Most people tend to not know what to do, right? Like, what do I do from step one to step two? And every step also has different tasks that you're supposed to carry on so that it builds off from there, right? So that's where I invite you to think about the small little steps on a daily basis. What can you do? How can you show up so that you can build onto the bigger plan of a weekly basis? Before you think about the bigger goal, think about it on a daily basis, and then from a daily basis, build on a week basis, then from a weekly basis, then a monthly basis. That's how you build confidence. That's how you build from those small wins so that you feel like something that you're building, it's not a huge, gigantic dream that you're building, but at least something that you're taking in small portions and you finding wins from there. And then those wins build confidence from you and move forward, right? Yes, you may not, in my example, in my case, yes, I may not see the views that I want, but do you know what? This is teaching me how to show up on camera, being confident on camera and speaking and being able to get good at speaking. So that's good. So it's the same thing that I'm inviting you to do. Look at those things. To be honest with you guys, every day is not 100%. The days when you're going to wake up and you just don't feel like doing anything, and that's okay. That is okay. Do what you need to do to feel aligned again and tap into that thing that is going to push you again. And that's why I've talked about this, that your why has to be stronger than making money. Your why has to be rooted from a place of like, this is why I'm doing this. You know, it's like your purpose. And even though you don't know what your purpose is, the fact that you have a dream or the fact that you have a specific goal, you're already one step further than anyone else. So embrace that. So I think I've shared quite a lot. So when you feel stuck and you're building, you have goals, but you feel stuck and you're like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. You feel like your efforts are not transitioning into something that's measurable. I need you to remember that you showing up is more than anything. You're building confidence. You're building something that in long run, this thing that you're not seeing that you're building, it's going to be your currency to something greater. So even though you take days off, or let's say mornings off or afternoons off, just show up. I don't know how to say this so I can make you believe this, but I kid you not. Small steps do show up. They do add up at the end of the day. If you show up and take in those little steps, you're on your way to achieving what you want. You are on your way to success. I've never heard of anyone who says that, hey, I started, taking steps or like climbing Mountain Everest and I didn't get there. It may take you a month, it may take you 2 months, but at the end of the day, if you do keep on going and take one step in front of another, you're going to reach to that peak and you're going to look down and you're like, I can't believe I did that. So I wanted to share that and encourage anyone who feels that, hey, these things or social media is clouding your judgment. Everyone is like, oh, you have to have this perfect, views or perfect setup, and so that you can create something that is magical and people will listen to you. I understand. Don't give up. One step at a time, one task at a time. Lock in and know that when you feel like you don't feel like showing up, that is okay. Feelings change. Tomorrow you're going to show up. So, yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in tomorrow's video. Cheers.